Welcome to Earth and Kind Quests. My name is Mike. In this episode of Nemesis Battles, 3 heroic adventurers confront a forest witch inside her lair. The 3 characters include an eldritch knight fighter, a circle of the land druid, and a life domain cleric, all at level 8 and using the rules in the 2024 Player's Handbook of Dungeons & Dragons. The 3 characters confront a foe known locally as the Forest Witch. The Witch uses the statistics of a night hag as a challenge rating 5 creature in the 2025 Monster Manual. She is assisted by allies and servants. The Lair grants special features such as legendary resistances and legendary actions. As with all of the episodes of Nemesis Battles, you can follow what happens in the story and in the game mechanics along with a demonstration in the 3D world builder and virtual tabletop system of RPG stories. For more details about the characters, in the video text description you can find the web links for the level 8 character sheets in D&D Beyond. You will notice that the characters are optimized in some but certainly not all of their aspects as individuals and as a team. The Wood Elf Eldritch Knight Fighter is named Eldritch. She is known for her stealth, fast movement, and flurries of weapon attacks. Her spellcasting as an Eldritch Knight is limited but effective mostly for defensive purposes. After years of adventuring, Eldritch is considering a new direction for the next chapter in her life. The Forest Gnome Circle of the Land Druid is named Jaorn Taran. He ranges through the wilderness, working to maintain a healthy balance in all aspects of nature. Jaorn Taran relies on his diverse spellcasting, druidic wild shape, and other features to adapt with most situations. The Gold Dragonborn Life Domain Cleric is named Varian Vitalimar. He works most effectively when providing healing and teamwork support for his allies. Lately, Varian Vitalimar has been searching for a community where he can settle down and provide religious leadership and guidance. Today, Eldritch, Jaorn Taran, and Varian Vitalimar are in a haunted forest, on a quest to confront someone known as the Forest Witch. The witch has been tormenting the local trolls and maybe others, torturing them with nightmares and luring them into the dangers of her lair. The 3 characters entered into the domain of the Forest Witch, thick with fog and spider webs. They fought against some of the outer scouts and defenders. They completed a short rest to recover their hit points and some of their power resources. A mysterious whisper flows through the fog, daring the 3 adventurers to step deeper into the forest where the Forest Witch will be waiting. The Eldritch Knight Fighter, Eldritch, advises to move with stealth. She uses her once-per-day free casting of Pass Without Trace as a Wood Elf. She leads the way, while the Druid and the Cleric follow, all adding a +10 bonus to the stealth skill checks with results of 27 for the Eldritch Knight, 28 for the Land Druid, and 25 for the Life Cleric. With caution, the group approaches an area that appears to be the lair of the Forest Witch. An isolated house is here in the middle of a small lake of muddy water. Near the house, a troll and 2 scarecrows are standing as guards. The troll and the scarecrows roll perception skill checks. The troll rolls 5. The 2 scarecrows roll 16 and 1, not nearly high enough to detect the approaching adventurers with their stealth skill checks of 25 through 28. Unknown to these 3 adventurers, though, phase spiders have been lurking in the ethereal plane, where they are undetectable, although they can see into the prime material plane. They have been watching and following the 3 characters. The spiders move to attack, sending a ripple across the ethereal border. All of the participants here roll for initiative. The phase spiders roll with advantage because they are undetected at this time. The troll and the 2 scarecrows are unaware of the approaching adventurers, so they roll with disadvantage of being surprised. The 3 adventurers in this particular case roll normally without advantage or disadvantage. With advantage, the 2 phase spiders roll 13 and 16. With disadvantage, the troll rolls 6, and the 2 scarecrows roll 19 and 12. The Eldritch Knight rolls 20, the Land Druid rolls 12, the Life Cleric rolls 17. The Eldritch Knight will act first, followed by 1 Scarecrow, the Life Cleric, the 2 Phase Spiders, the other Scarecrow, the Land Druid, and lastly the Troll. Other creatures are in the vicinity. Whenever they will become alerted to the battle, then they will roll into the initiative. In round 1, the Eldritch Knight Fighter, Eldritch, is the first to act. She sensed the disturbance coming across the ethereal plane, reminding her of her previous encounter with phase spiders. Eldritch wants to move closer to the house before she might be slowed down by enemies. As her action, she casts Longstrider with her Wood Elf spellcasting, and without using a spell slot, gaining an extra 10 feet of movement. As a bonus action, she casts Jump on herself, allowing to spend 10 feet of her movement to jump 30 feet. With her new 55 feet of movement and the jump spell, Eldritch approaches closer toward the house. The movement in here, though, was detected by a black dragon wormling, hiding beneath the muddy water and using its blind sight to sense the approach of the Eldritch Knight. This wormling alerts another one beneath the muddy water. They both roll into the initiative count, with advantage due to being unseen right now, resulting in 19 and 17. One wormling will act now and another will act after this next scarecrow. The first black dragon wormling rises up from the muddy water. It flies toward the druid and the cleric. It uses its acid breath in a 15-foot cone, producing 18 acid damage. The druid and the cleric roll their dexterity saving throws with results of 16 and 19, reducing the damage by half. The first scarecrow can see the Eldritch Knight approaching rapidly. The scarecrow steps closer toward the edge of the water. It uses its terrifying glare, sending a supernatural sensation of dread at the Eldritch Knight. Eldritch rolls a wisdom saving throw. With a result of 18, she is not frightened or paralyzed by the terrifying glare. The second black dragon wormling emerges. It flies toward the Eldritch Knight. It approaches close enough for using its acid breath, producing 22 acid damage. With a dexterity saving throw of 24, Eldritch suffers only half of the damage. The wormling submerges itself beneath the water. The Life Domain Cleric, Varian Vitalimar, sensed earlier about a disturbance across the ethereal plane. He expects that phase spiders will appear at any moment. The cleric casts Spirit Guardians, generating a 15-foot emanation of radiant energy. He designates his allies to be unaffected by the emanation. Anyone else inside the emanation will encounter difficult terrain and could be exposed to radiant damage. The damage does not happen right away. The radiant damage affects a creature when the emanation moves into its space, as well as when a creature moves into the emanation or ends its turn inside there. For now, the cleric moves toward the nearest black dragon wormling, bringing the Spirit Guardians into contact with his opponent. The emanation generates 10 radiant damage. The wormling rolls a wisdom saving throw. A result of 6 fails. The wormling suffers the full amount of the 10 radiant damage. Varian Vitalimar uses his remaining movement to move back toward the druid, bringing the Spirit Guardians with him. Within the ethereal plane, a phase spider moves and uses its bonus action of an ethereal jaunt to appear next to the druid while making its first bite attack with advantage. The advantage roll of 11 misses against the armor class of 15. The second bite attack roll of 22 hits the druid. It inflicts 8 piercing damage and 10 poison damage. Because of phasing into the Spirit Guardians, the phase spider is exposed to 12 radiant damage. With a wisdom saving throw of 20, the spider suffers only half of the damage. The spider moves to find a safer position outside the emanation. When it moves, though, it provokes an opportunity attack from the druid. With the Warcaster feat, the druid casts the cantrip Shocking Grasp. An attack roll of 14 hits against the armor class of 14. It generates 13 lightning damage. Additionally, the spider cannot use its reaction until the start of its next turn. Although wounded, the spider manages to move away. Another phase spider moves within the ethereal plane and uses its bonus action to phase into the prime material plane in melee contact with the life cleric. While appearing in this way, the first bite attack is with advantage. A roll of 22 hits against the armor class of 16. The bite produces 5 piercing damage and 10 poison damage. The cleric rolls a Constitution saving throw to concentrate on the Spirit Guardians spell. A result of 12 succeeds. The concentration continues. The second bite attack roll of 21 hits again. The bite causes 4 piercing damage and 10 poison damage. The cleric rolls another Constitution saving throw to concentrate on Spirit Guardians. A result of 10 succeeds. The phase spider is exposed to the Spirit Guardians and 13 radiant damage. With a wisdom saving throw of 9, the spider suffers the full amount of damage. The spider moves away. The cleric is not equipped with an effective way to attempt an opportunity attack. The spider ends its turn safely outside the emanation. The second scarecrow stays in its position. It prepares a ready action to use its terrifying glare against any intruder appearing within its range of 30 feet. The Circle of the Land druid Jaorn Taran starts his first turn of this combat with 41 of his 59 hit points. He moves to position himself in a line with the 2 phase spiders. He casts Lightning Bolt, sending the bolt through both of the spiders and generating 22 lightning damage. The spiders roll dexterity saving throws to try to escape half of the damage. The farthest spider rolls 19, the nearest spider rolls 16. With the successful saving throws, the 2 phase spiders suffer only 11 lightning damage, now retaining 21 and 11 of their hit points. As a bonus action, the land druid activates his druidic wild shape, assuming the familiar form of an owl. As part of the wild shape, the druid gains 8 temporary hit points. Given that the druid used his full movement to reach to this position, the owl cannot use any additional movement at this time, otherwise the owl would prefer to fly back into the protection of the spirit guardians. The troll hears a voice inside its head, commanding the troll to stay in its position outside the door and to attack anyone who will approach. The troll prepares a ready action to make one rend attack at anyone who will enter within its reach of 10 feet. This reach is enough to cover the doorway entrance into the house. At the end of round 1, the 3 adventurers have been noticed. They hear a voice in the wind. It is the voice of the forest witch that they have heard before, daring them to approach into her house. The forest witch uses the statistics of a night hag in the 2025 Monster Manual. She rolls into the initiative with a result of 21. She will act first during this next round of the combat. In addition to the regular statistics of a night hag, the forest witch gains legendary features. The house functions as her lair. The witch can use a bonus action to open or close the door to the house, fixing it in place as if with the spell Arcane Lock. The cauldron serves as a power source for 3 legendary resistances, allowing to fail a saving throw and then decide to succeed instead. Furthermore, the cauldron enables 3 legendary actions that the witch can use after another creature's turn. I will clarify the details when they will become relevant. In round 2, the forest witch uses her bonus action to force open the door of her house. The door now is fixed in the open position as if affected by an arcane lock spell, but in the open position. The forest witch steps forward. She sets her eyes on the eldritch knight. While waving her bony finger, the forest witch curses the eldritch knight, penetrating into her mind with her worst fears. As her action, the forest witch casts Phantasmal Killer, producing 20 psychic damage, and potentially adding other debilitating effects that could persist for the next 1 minute. Eldritch rolls a wisdom saving throw. With a result of 18, she refuses to succumb to the witch's curse. She sustains half of the psychic damage for only 10 damage. She prevents the witch from sustaining the effects of the Phantasmal Killer spell. The forest witch moves back, next to her cauldron with its cloud of sickly fumes. The Eldritch Knight fighter, Eldritch, starts her turn with 38 of her total 60 hit points. With her active jump spell, she can use 10 feet of her movement to jump across the water gap toward the house. The Eldritch Knight enters within a range of the prepared action of one of the scarecrows with his terrifying glare. Eldritch rolls a wisdom saving throw. With a result of 12, she is not frightened or paralyzed by the terrifying glare. As a bonus action, Eldritch uses her second wind feature. She regains 12 hit points, and she uses the tactical shift option to move half of her speed of 55 feet without provoking opportunity attacks. She moves past the nearest scarecrow too quickly for the scarecrow to react. The troll, though, prepared a ready action to rend at anyone entering into its reach of 10 feet. The troll now uses its reaction to rend at the Eldritch Knight. The attack roll of 12 misses against the armor class of 17. Eldritch continues to move. She enters into melee contact with the Forest Witch. She begins her flurry of weapon attacks. The first attack is with the scimitar. A roll of 25 hits against the armor class of 17. The attack causes 11 slashing damage. The Nick Weapon Mastery allows an extra Nick attack with a different light weapon. The Nick attack with a short sword rolls 23, hitting the witch and causing 9 piercing damage. The Vex Weapon Mastery grants advantage on the next attack roll. The regular next attack with the Vex advantage is 22, hitting the witch and causing another 10 piercing damage. The Vex Weapon Mastery applies again. Eldritch knows that she is causing severe damage to the Forest Witch. she activates her action surge for another 2 attacks. With the Vex advantage, the short-sword attack is a natural 20 for a critical hit. The damage dice are doubled. The hit produces 13 piercing damage. The Vex continues. The final short-sword attack with the Vex advantage rolls 20, hitting and causing another 11 piercing damage. The Vex applies once more into the Eldritch Knight's next turn. The Forest Witch sustains serious wounds. She stands with 58 of her total 112 hit points. As her first legendary action, the Forest Witch mumbles in a tune like a distorted nursery rhyme. Fumes spill out from the cauldron and move to choke the Eldritch Knight in a cloud of poisonous gas. The Eldritch Knight rolls a Constitution saving throw. With a result of 14, she is not poisoned. The cloud dissipates. One Black Dragon Wyrmling starts its turn still inside the emanation of the Spirit Guardians. It will not yet be affected by the radiant damage unless it will end its turn inside here. The Wyrmling attempts to recharge its acid breath. With a result of 5, the Wyrmling coughs and regains its acid breath. In its current position, the Wyrmling can release the 15-foot cone of acid onto the Life Cleric, producing 22 acid damage. The Cleric rolls a Constitution saving throw. A result of 3 fails. The Cleric suffers the full amount of damage, now with only 8 of his total 59 hit points. The Cleric rolls another Constitution saving throw to concentrate on the Spirit Guardian's spell. A result of 14 succeeds. The concentration continues. The Wyrmling moves back, away from the Spirit Guardians, and submerges itself beneath the water. One Scarecrow moves into the house. It uses its dash action to enter into melee contact with the Eldritch Knight. The Forest Witch warns that soon the Eldritch Knight will be surrounded by enemies and trapped inside this house. The second Black Dragon Wyrmling is lurking beneath the muddy water. It emerges and flies toward the Life Cleric. The Wyrmling attempts to recharge its acid breath. With a result of 1, the Wyrmling sputters and does not regain its acid breath. The Wyrmling decides to use its dash action to move toward the druid, now in the form of an owl. The Wyrmling ends its turn in melee contact with the owl. The Life Cleric Varian Vitalimar moves toward the Phase Spider and the Black Dragon Wyrmling, bringing the Spirit Guardians along with him as an emanation. The emanation generates 15 radiant damage. The Spider and the Wyrmling roll Wisdom saving throws. The Spider rolls 6. The Wyrmling rolls 14. The Phase Spider falls with 0 hit points, defeated. As his action, the Life Cleric casts the cantrip Toll the Dead at the Wyrmling. The Wyrmling hears a dreadful sound and rolls a Wisdom saving throw. With a result of 5, the Wyrmling suffers 24 necrotic damage. The Wyrmling falls with 0 hit points. It has been defeated. As a bonus action, Varian Vitalimar casts Healing Word on himself with a 2nd level spell slot. He regains 17 hit points, now standing with 25 of his total 59 hit points. The Forest Witch uses her second legendary action. She causes her bubbling cauldron to overflow with twisted foliage. The foliage reaches out to grasp the Eldritch Knight. Eldritch makes a strength saving throw. With a result of 21, she fights off the grasping greenery. She is not restrained. The leaves wither and disappear. The last standing Phase Spider cannot move far enough during its turn to make its bite attacks against the Cleric as the nearest enemy. Additionally, the Spider does not want to enter into the radiant damage of the Spirit Guardians. In this case, the Phase Spider uses its bonus action of an ethereal jaunt to phase into the ethereal plane. Within the ethereal plane, the Spider moves secretly and waits for its next opportunity. The second Scarecrow moves toward the house. It uses a dash action to enter through the door and move into melee contact with the Eldritch Knight. The Forest Witch grins with delight, seeing that her prey is surrounded and soon to be trapped inside the house. The Circle of the Land Druid, Jayon Taran, uses the 60 feet flying speed in owl form to move as far as he can toward the witch's house. As a bonus action, he ends the druidic wild shape and transforms back into a forest gnome. As an action, the druid casts Summon Fae with a 4th level spell slot at the maximum range of 90 feet, creating a summoned Fae spirit as close as he can manage toward the forest witch. Jayon Taran commands the summoned Fae spirit to attack the witch. The Fae spirit shares the druid's initiative order and it acts immediately after the druid. The Fae spirit moves by the troll that no longer can make an opportunity attack because the troll already used its reaction earlier. As a bonus action, the Fae spirit uses its Fae step to teleport up to 30 feet. It appears in melee contact with the forest witch, where it makes 2 Fae blade attacks. As part of the Fey Step feature, the Fey Spirit's Fuming Mood grants advantage on its first attack roll. The result of 24 hits against the armor class of 17. It causes 16 force damage. The second Fey Blade attack rolls 22, hitting the witch and delivering 17 force damage. The Forest Witch drops to only 25 of her total 112 hit points. As her third legendary action, the witch mutters an incantation, causing acid to leap out from her cauldron, aiming at the Eldritch Knight. The Forest Witch makes a spell attack roll. A result of 14 misses against the armor class of 17. The Eldritch Knight avoids the acid damage. Now that the Forest Witch has used all 3 of her legendary actions, she cannot do so again until after her next turn. The troll hears a voice inside his head again. The Forest Witch commands to move over to the doorway of the house and to block the door, preparing to attack anyone who will dare to approach. The troll prepares a ready action to rend at anyone who will enter within his reach of 10 feet. At the end of round 2, the Forest Witch has suffered severe damage, yet soon she could gain an upper hand with her allies and her legendary actions inside her house. Meanwhile, inside the house, the Eldritch Knight now is joined by the druid's summoned Fey Spirit. The cleric and the druid remain at a distance from the house, coping with some but not all of the allies of the Forest Witch at the outer perimeter. In round 3, the Forest Witch starts her turn with only 25 of her total 112 hit points. She considers to cast Plane Shift to escape, but she is unwilling to abandon her lair and her special magical cauldron. The Forest Witch glares at the Eldritch Knight. Once again, she utters a curse, conjuring the darkest fears of the Eldritch Knight. As her action, she casts Phantasmal Killer, producing 27 psychic damage and threatening to impose additional dreadful effects. Eldritch rolls a wisdom saving throw. With a result of 18, she sustains half of the psychic damage. Eldritch shakes her head and rids herself of the attempted Phantasmal Killer. The Forest Witch grinds her teeth and spits at the Eldritch Knight. As a bonus action, the witch forces the door of her house to close. It now is locked, as if with an arcane lock spell. The Eldritch Knight fighter, Eldritch, starts her turn with 25 of her total 60 hit points. She focuses on making her attacks, aiming to end this battle. The prior Vex advantage still applies against the Forest Witch. The advantage attack with a scimitar rolls 27, hitting against the armor class of 17 and causing 11 slashing damage. The scimitar applies the Nick weapon mastery. The extra Nick attack with a short sword rolls a natural 20 for a critical hit. The damage dice are doubled, producing in total 11 piercing damage, not quite enough to defeat the Forest Witch. The attack does apply the Vex advantage on the final short sword attack. A roll of 23 hits the Forest Witch. The hit produces 9 piercing damage. The Forest Witch screeches while she dissolves away into the air. She has been defeated. As the witch dissolves, the cauldron decays and vanishes. The entire house fades away. The scarecrows crumble into dust. The remaining phase spiders, black dragon wormlings, and other allies or servants of the witch all disperse. The troll remains here, now free from the nightmares and the voice of the Forest Witch controlling it. The only item still remaining here from the house is a book. Eldritch recognizes that the book is marked with the symbol of the Spell Sword Academy, where the Eldritch Knight was a scholar in the past. The book appears to be a magical spell book belonging to someone who studied dreams and nightmares. The Life Domain Cleric Varian Vitalimar announces that the group will guide the troll back to its cave den in another part of the forest. Now that the Forest Witch has been defeated, then she no longer will torture the trolls or anyone else with nightmares and lure them into her lair. Later, at the Troll Cave Den, the 3 adventurers are regarded as heroes. They are deemed to be trustworthy for their efforts in defeating the Forest Witch and protecting the trolls from the nightmares. The trolls agree to end their recent hostilities in the area. While walking along a forest road, the 3 adventurers discuss what they will do next. The Life Domain Cleric Varian Vitalimar will return to a nearby forest hamlet where he feels that he can contribute as a community leader. The Circle of the Land Druid, Jeon Taran, will continue to roam through the forest in his role as protector of life. The Eldritch Knight fighter, Eldritch, decides to visit with her former rival and now friendly colleague in charge of the newest iteration of the Spellsword Academy. Perhaps she can assist with training of the newest generations of heroic adventurers. Our story will continue with Nemesis Battles. For now, in the comment section, your ideas and suggestions will improve the next episodes. What could have happened differently so far? what could happen next with these characters and with others. As always, thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.